Now we're talking to the longtime voice of the Indiana Hoosiers, Don Fischer. And Don, heading into this year, it is year 3 of the Tom Crean era. And the team looks like it's going to be making a substantial jump this year from a talent perspective.
Well, I think you're right. Not just talent, but the way they look. It looks like a different basketball team physically. So they've gone through a really good summer of work and really changed their bodies. That's the first thing that you notice when you watch them practice. But the other thing you notice is that the incoming freshmen have given them a depth that they didn't previously have and more athleticism. And this group actually looks like they understand what the coach is talking to them about these days, which, you know, for a couple of years there, it was difficult to discern that. But honestly, this team looks a great deal different than it did a year ago.
You mentioned the freshman. Victor Oladipo is a guy people have been paying attention to for a while because of the highlight reel perspective, but he's actually going to provide an element defensively that Indiana has not had in the last couple of years.
Well, you know, you'd like to say that you have somebody that's a lockdown defender and can guard the best guy in the other team, scoring-wise, those kinds of things, but we just haven't had them and really haven't had a defensive presence like he brings to the table. So that's another area of major improvement on this basketball team. And if this is going to be a good basketball team, they've got to be able to defend people. And certainly the last couple of years that was difficult. I think with the new guys, that's really going to help them.
It's a tough time for upward mobility in the Big Ten. There was a lull, I think, in the conference in the middle part of the last decade, but it's back to its strong self, and there are 7-8 teams that could vie to go to the NCAA tournament this year.
I honestly believe there are 7 teams in our league that could win the Big Ten. I really believe that they're capable. Now, you know, it'll play itself out as it goes along, but right now, as you go into the season, I can name 7 teams that I think have the potential to win the Big Ten championship. That means there are 7 teams that are certainly going to be able to maybe make the NCAA field, although that's going to be difficult because I don't know that any conference has ever taken more than 6, or I guess maybe somebody did a year or 2 ago. My memory banks are shot these days. But what I am saying is I think the league is as good as it's been in many, many years. You look at the coaches in this league. And I've talked to a couple of coaches now who are retired or not in coaching anymore, and they just say, they start talking about the coaches in this league like, you guys have the Taj Mahal of coaches, number 1. He said that number 2, the league itself just keeps getting better and better with talent. And, you know, there was a lull about 3 or 4 years ago where the league just didn't look like it was as strong as it had been from a talent standpoint. That is no longer the case. This is one of the best leagues in the country, if not the best.